The news this week just kept coming. We heard about Jeffrey Epstein's suicide or murder. Well, that all depends upon which side you take. And yet, only a fool didn't know what was going to happen. In other news, Bitcoin is back over $10,000 as the yield curve collapses. Tesla loses out on a $5 million deal due to quality issues, and according to Bank of America, investors have not been so worried about the future in the 30 years that Bank of America has data on this. Fed Chair Powell has banned any public appearances by any Fed board member, noting that appearances at conferences have been canceled. All scheduled interviews have been abandoned, and any comments on or off the record are outlawed. Why may you ask? Well, maybe the Fed is running out of ammunition, and Trump has floated the idea of buying Greenland. Now, I think that might be a good idea. I don't think there's any casinos or golf courses in Greenland. And now, all just for a bit of fun, let's check in with the axe guy, Gar Leto, who has been sharpening that axe. I hope Gar knows I appreciate his comments and views and we're just having fun. But by now, I'll bet the axe must be razor sharp. As for me, I'm going to climb out further on that limb this week with the following. The thumbnail for this video update is an open window because in my humble opinion, I believe the opportunity to purchase good stocks for the future is now starting. So JB, only follow me if you have been studying the charts and are confident in your stocks and the fundamentals. So risk on. But as usual, there is no hurry as patience always wins. We have covered many stocks and we'll cover many more. Not all of these stocks are ready for purchase. You have to decide based on your comfort zone, your circumstances, and your risk tolerance. But always remember, be prudent, as black swans are everywhere these days. So, good luck to all. And now, for something new, let's take a look. We're going to be looking at two charts today, beginning with the 20-year monthly on the spiders, the SPY, and the close on Friday was 288.85. Now, I'm not as interested in the price chart as I am the oscillators, primarily the MAC. So let's go to the MAC. Now, it's been probably 6, 7, 8 weeks, maybe even over 2 months ago that I told you that this formation that we're in here now is very similar to the formation back in 2015, 2016. And if it held to that formation, then we may be on our way for another, say, year and a half of a run in the market. That might be stretching things, but I do say that we're looking so similar that I think that we are very near a move in the fast line above the slow line, which means that the market is headed for blue skies. So that's why I think the window of opportunity is beginning to open. But let's look at this. Let's focus on this a little bit. The fast line came through after that previous high, came down through the slow line, and we bounced off once, twice, and we might get a third bounce off depending upon this reflection here of the fast line underneath that slow line. We might get a third reflection off of that 10 level. Now, it's not really all that important that we reflect at that 10 level. We can stay anywhere near there. The important part is that we're well elevated above that zero line. Now, back here in 2015, 2016, that level there was probably only about a 5 or so. So it really doesn't matter. And look what happened after 2016, off we went. So I'm thinking that we're probably going to get this reflection coming on down here, maybe to the 10 level, and then it's going to come back up. At that point, I think it's going to have the power to make it through that slow line and then head on up for blue skies. But that window opening is also exhibited by the 6-month daily chart. So let's go take a look at that. Now looking at the 6-month daily on the spiders, the SPY, last week, we were talking about the fact that we had hit that bottom here, and then the market was moving on up into that 50 and 20 EMA, similar to this move here. It reflected on up into that 50 and the 20 EMA and then got rejected back down to this point. And then finally, the market was able to gain the strength and head on up. Now, so we're at this point here, we got reflected back down here. I'm not sure if this move on the way down is done yet. It doesn't really matter. The point is that we're going to tread sideways simply because of the MAC. And as I told you a week ago, this point here was too far from here in the slow line. The fast line had too much distance between itself and the slow line. Very similar to that point there and here. So it had to trade sideways, or in the case of this time frame, down to this point here. So in the current circumstances, we seem to be moving sideways with some volatility. So back down to the MAC, we've traded sideways. I'm not sure if we're going to be ready to head on up and through the slow line next week. It may be the following week. So we'll just have to wait and see. But be patient. Things will work out. Down here into the histogram, again, that bottom, the move up, reflection, finally gained some strength and up and away. We came down here at the bottom, moved back up. We're getting a little bit of a reflection. Not sure if it's done yet, but soon enough, we'll come down here maybe or sideways and then on up. You can see the price rate of change, that the bottoming process is occurring here, not unlike here. We're going to probably continue to do some sawtoothing in this area here and then on up through. And the relative strength, you can also see that as well. It actually looks like that maximum negativity was there, and it does want to move up above that 50 or midline. You see the same thing happening in the stochastic as well. And here, let's just focus on volume for a second. This was the maximum negative move in early May at that point. Now, you can see that the trading subsequent to that was sort of a trickle down or a decline in the trading for the most part. Same thing here, maximum negativity in early August with a bit of trading or downtrend in the volume. So just keep watching that. Into the Williams, same sort of bottoming process is occurring. It's occurring at an elevated level in comparison to the May to June time frame. So that's favorable. It looks like it wants to move up, head toward the 50. We'll just have to wait and see, a week or two at the most. Back on up here to the price chart. So again, I think the window is opening. I think that the daily is showing us that it wants to turn. And I think that that turn is going to impact the weekly and the monthly. But it does take time, so be patient. But get your chickens in order, line them up, because I think good things are going to happen. So we'll know more next week. And next week, perhaps we'll take a look at the weekly, see how that's impacted by next week's trading. And so for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.